have we got Knowles? The great and powerful Michael Knowles?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Hey,
there he
all
is.
right.
Oh, and you're wearing your Rachel Maddow costume for Halloween.
I actually have been preparing my costume for the last forever. So I have been getting into the spirit of it to make sure that this Halloween is the most convincing ever.
Well, it's you're virtually identical. In fact, I wanted to bring up the fact that you and Rachel are never seen together at the same time, which I think is...
That is true. And I have as much incriminating evidence about Donald Trump's taxes as Rachel does. So you know.
And I want to congratulate you on the incredible reception we're getting for Another Kingdom. Just for people who haven't heard, this is our new serial podcast. It's a story I wrote. Knowles is performing about a Hollywood schlub who walks through a door and suddenly finds himself a murder suspect in a fantasy land, a weird, bizarre kingdom. But the reviews, we now have over 400 five-star reviews, many of which actually say that you're not a bad actor.
This has been shocking. I will tell you, I assumed after the blank book that I would never, ever work in this town again. And then after meeting you in your bathrobe in the hotel room, you cast me in this very graciously.
I have no memory of that.
I appreciated it. Yeah. You don't. This was 30 years ago. I was 14. We're confusing.
30 years ago or Thursday. I can't remember.
There are so many of these Hollywood stories. It's hard to keep track. But but the reaction has been really good. We've got tens of thousands of listens and 400 reviews. I was talking to my dad about this, and we were discussing how great it would be if the way into Hollywood is conservative politics. That's what Betty Davis said. What's the fastest way into Hollywood? K Street.
That's right. That's right. You'll be giving an interview. Yeah, no, I couldn't have gotten in if I hadn't been a conservative Trump supporter.
That's where that MAGA hat, you have to wear it or you get blacklisted here. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I will say I might have to retract my statement and your statement that conservatives are Philistines, because this conservative audience has been listening to fiction and art, and I don't know, maybe they've just been, the real issue is that they hate Hollywood because the art is terrible.
That may be true. And not only that, the reviews, and I do go on and read some of the reviews, they've been very smart and insightful. They're actually following what we're doing, and not just the story, but the whole idea of the thing. And it's cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think the reason we've gotten away with all of this is because it's audio. We don't have to wear costumes, which I think now is a federal crime. I think Mueller will actually indict you if you wear a costume that's offensive.
Our audience is waiting on tenterhooks because tomorrow Halloween's tomorrow, right? Yeah. So they want to know. I mean, they want to know which costumes the left doesn't want them to wear, because I know how concerned they are about this.
So I do have a complete list. Okay. Of costumes that you're allowed to wear this Halloween. It's actually it's similar content to what I've been writing about. Nothing. You can't wear anything. You're not allowed to wear any costume. The main ones that the left...
It's easy to remember.
It's easy to remember it. The ones that the left has mainly been griping about are... And to say this is a partial list doesn't do justice to partiality. You can't wear Moana. You can't wear Maui Boys. That Disney actually pulled that costume. It was so offensive.
Wait, Moana's the Disney princess from Hawaii.
Moana is the costume. Like, you cannot... It's a Disney princess from Hawaii. It has been, this is no joke. I went into a Party City over the weekend because I was going to a party and I obviously wanted a Moana costume.
Of course, yeah.
I asked them, I said, are you guys all out of Moana? The woman looked at me like I was crazy. She said, oh, we never got that costume. No, we didn't. Oh, we didn't stock that.
So little girl goes to mom and says, oh, I want to be Moana. I saw that movie. I loved it so much. Nope, no way, because the left says no.
I actually can't. I'm shaking thinking that a child could be so insensitive and racist.
Now, what were the Maui Boys?
The Maui Boys, you can't, because that's insensitive to the native Polynesian Hawaiian cultures. You can't be obviously Aladdin, Pocahontas, which I was last year as Liz Warren. You can't be Mulan, you can't be Princess and the Frog, you can't wear sombreros, you can't wear a turban, and you can't wear grass skirts. It goes on and on and on. The reason for this, of course, is a cultural appropriation. So for those who aren't familiar with cultural appropriation, if you participate in a culture that is not your own, so you eat a burrito but you're from Ohio or something, you are a racist because you're appropriating that culture. Now, if you don't participate in a culture that is not your own, you are also a racist because you're not living through it or seeing the experiences of other people who are different from you. So the long story short, of course, is that you're a racist. You needed me to tell you that.
So why is it not like a celebrate? I mean, why is that not the best thing about America, that we let everybody in and they become part of our society, and their things become our things and our things become their things? Why is that not a good thing?
Well, because of our vicious imperialism that accepts anybody who comes here of their own free will and gives them a lot of free stuff and a chance at a good life.
And at that time, we conquered some place.
That time that we ever conquered anybody ever. And even the few times that we had to have imperial incursions, like in Guam or something, we didn't even want them. We had to take those territories as a result of a war, and we let them go free the minute we could.
I mean, we should own Germany now, right?
We rebuild Japan. We rebuild all these places that we should have conquered. That any rule of traditional history would say, you conquer the land and you keep it. But because we're Americans, we say, no, we want you to be free.
Yeah.
So anyway, as a result, this has gone all the way down to elementary schools. A lot of elementary schools are canceling their Halloween parades because they just don't want to deal with it. I can't say I blame them. But the real fights are not about the little toddlers at elementary schools. They're about the little toddlers on college campuses all over the country.
Yeah, the real children, yeah.
So the University of Florida right now is offering counseling to students who have been affected by scary Halloween costumes. I don't mean scary boo, I mean scary like
Moana.
Coconut bikini or something. Let's not forget that famous incident at dear old Yale where the student was screaming at that professor. That was over Halloween costumes. Do we have the cut?
Here for all, stay quiet. For all filming students. You understand that? As your position as master, it is your job to create a place of comfort and home for the students that live in Silliman. You have not done that. By sending out that email, that goes against your position as master. Do you understand that? Then
no, I don't agree with that.
Then why the did you accept the position?
Because
Who
I have
hired you?
I have a different
You
vision
should
than you.
step down. If that is what you think about being a master, you should step down. It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that? It's about creating a home here.
It's scary.
That is scary.
That, by the way, was in reaction to an email that man didn't even send. His wife sent it,
right,
suggesting that Yale students were capable of choosing their own clothing. Someone who's studying, at one of the most elite institutions in the world could pick out a silly costume for a Saturday night.
It really is the authorities who let this happen, who even tolerate for 10 seconds this stupid idea. They don't. You and I, who have between us, we have an IQ of 80. I think if we add our IQs together,
possibly 82.
We understand what's wrong with this. We see why don't they just say, you know what? Shut up. I mean, this is what is the appeal of this? To live in terror so that little children can't wear whatever damn costume they want to.
Well, a few reasons. One, these are the flower children grown up, so the people who are running Yale now I think really believe their own Kool-Aid, and they've let the inmates run the prison and the lunatics run the asylum. They don't understand that there's a thought that stops thought, and that's the only thought that ought to be stopped.
Right.
They don't understand that there are premises to liberal education and to a liberal society, and you can't attack those premises. You can attack all of the other things, but there are axia that you have to believe. But I think the reason with the Halloween costumes, the reason that this is such an issue is that it's a power play. It's a power play over which speech we can censor. So the left has tried to censor speech on campuses all across the country, and I think it's because their view of the world denies to varying degrees reason and objective reality. Yeah. So they never fight with arguments. The weight of your opinion is not determined by the perspicacity of your argument. It's determined by things like the color of your skin or your sexual organs. Your opinion is greater privilege or greater disadvantage based on some irrational concept. So they get in trouble for this, and they look absurd when they ban speakers like that Jewish Nazi Shapiro.
I hate that guy.
He's just such a bigot. But with Halloween costumes, because they're not really about an argument per se. They take the opportunity to smack them, to flex their muscles, to censor speech. The University of Massachusetts, the Center for Women and Community, put up a board. And it basically was a board to give you guidelines on how you can dress. And it said, don't be an a-hole. They always have to go to these kind of epithets.
It's funny. I know the leftists I know will curse me within 3 sentences of greeting. It goes from hello to a-hole, like almost instantly. I don't quite, the rage and the desire to control people, I have to believe that there's some emptiness there that they are feeling, that they don't have a belief in any positive thing, that all they can do is censor everybody else.
And they can only do it with vulgarity. They can only do it because to write well is to think clearly, which is why it's so hard, as David McCulloch said.
Yeah.
And so they don't have any good argument. They don't have a clear language with which to express their deep emptiness that makes them control people. So they just have to lash out with profanities. I mean, they're literally, at the University of Massachusetts, they put up different flow charts and different degrees of danger so that you could do, this is no joke, it's called SCREAM. It's the Simple Costume Racism Evaluation and Assessment Meter.
That has got to be satire.
Well, that's what I thought, and I'm still not totally sure.
Yeah.
By all accounts, it's a legitimate flyer, but this does bring up Poe's law, which is that on the internet things are so absurd, and really in our culture things are so absurd, the internet culture, that you can't tell the difference between satire and reality. They kind of merge as one.
You know what really bothers me, and then I got to say goodbye, but what really bothers me about this is, like, kids want so little out of life. They want mom to love them, they want a cookie, they want to dress up as their favorite princess. Well, leave them alone, for crying out loud.
Well, the best part, so the Moana costume has been at the center of all of this, and Cosmo ran this big piece that said, the headline was, maybe don't dress your kid up as Moana this Halloween. This very condescending thing. It said, if your kid wears a racist costume, you're kind of wearing it too. Encourage your kids to step back and realize they're awash in privileges that the real Moanas and Tianas of the world will never see, because the world is full of racist a-holes. This is the big piece that went viral. Now, Cosmo has a piece out today that's it's about a casting call that went out from Disney. It says, quote, "Did you wake up this morning and think, how can I become a Disney princess while traveling the world? Good news, they're looking for princesses and princesses for their cruises."
Somebody is not coordinating the articles. What are you talking about on your show?
So today I'm going to talk about how Mueller is indicting Democrats. I mean, he's literally indicting Republicans. But I don't think people have read through the indictment. The implications that this has for top Democrats, for Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, for his brother, that's fine. You want Paul Manafort's scalp? All right, let's see who else goes down with it, folks. It's
amazing. It is really amazing that, and the press is going to not cover it for as long as they can. But if Mueller's honest, the Clinton people are going to be in real trouble. We'll see if he is or not. All right, Michael Knowles, star of Another Kingdom, and also that other show, The Michael Knowles Show. Oh yeah, I knew
that one. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, watch that one too.
All right, I'll see you later.